Welcome back to the Gardening Rebel channel, and today Karen has sent me on a mission to come down and get some tomatoes for this weekend. She's kind of wanting to fry some up, but I've already noticed that we've got some of them that's actually starting to turn red. As many people know, fried green tomatoes are pretty much a staple during the summertime down here in the south, and we enjoy them every now and then at the house. It's not a big thing for us to have, you know, a couple dozen a month just to fry up, and that's one of the things I miss during the winter months, is being able to come down here in my own yard and get exactly what I want. But right now, let me just find a couple decent sized tomatoes. Now, when I look for my tomatoes, due to the excessive growth of mine, which as you can tell, they're already reaching close to 6.5 foot tall, and that's after they've been woven through the trellis that we have set up for them to grow on. I believe I will take this one. Alright, so we've got 3 nice tomatoes just for supper. But let me show you something real quick on why I don't prune my tomato plants. Because I really enjoy something that they put out later on in the year. So hang with me just one second. Let me drop these in my little bucket and I'll be right back. I'm down here with you now. So I want to direct your attention to these 2 stems right here. Actually, there's 3. There's one at the ground level, 4. One right there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, a lot of people on YouTube that do garden channels, and again, I'm not saying they're wrong, it's just their way of doing it, would have simply cut all these off at an early stage, which they think, in their opinion, would give the tomatoes more growth, bigger, fuller tomatoes. I've never had an issue with this before. As you can tell, I have not pruned these at all. Any vines that have been knocked off, or branches, or suckers, as some people call them, which they're not really suckers, was knocked off or broke during the flood. Now, the one reason I do not cut mine off, during the late season, I can a lot of peppers. Jalapeno, rooster tails, Tabasco peppers, ghost peppers, things of that nature. So what I tend to do, now this is what you would normally be instructed to cut off if you were going to sucker the tomato plant. I had to get that out right. But I'm going to bring you over here and I'm going to show you one reason why I don't do it. Alright, do you see these little guys right here? Wipe my hands off. These are tomatoes that is coming off that branch. It starts right there, and it goes down, it goes down, it goes down. That's it curving up, and it goes right to the stem. That is some tomatoes that you would have pruned off if you were pruning your tomatoes at a young stage, an early stage of their development. And there's another tomato that you would have pruned off. And there's more blooms, and there's more blooms. Okay. Now, I've still got blooms up at the top, and I've still got young tomatoes developing, and that's fine. Me and Karen do not eat large quantities of tomatoes through the summertime. We do, however, put some up in salsa and canned tomatoes, things like that. But with these guys, the reason I don't pull them off is because late in the season, you're going to have a lot of tomatoes start coming on. It's going to be this size. They're perfect for pickling. You use them, you can pickle them with okra and peppers and make a combination out of it. Hot peppers, okra, and these little green tomatoes, and people absolutely love them. The tomatoes hold a lot of flavor, a lot of hotness, it's a different kind of taste to them, but they are excellent. Now, excuse me while I get up. Now, just because I don't sucker my tomatoes doesn't mean I do not have a pretty good yield from year to year. Now see this right here? Water damage. That's how high the flood got up on us. Right there. So we're doing pretty good in the tomato department. We've got some rather large, luscious green tomatoes. And this is the Christmas present I'm waiting to pick right there. One reason why I do not sucker my plants is I like to get everything I can out of that plant to use throughout the summer months. Let's say, I just hope I don't find a snake piled up in here. These were supposed to be the Space Saver cucumbers, and I do not believe that is what I got planted. So either I messed up with my seeds, or maybe they were mispackaged at the seed store. I'm not going to complain though. These are great cucumbers. If I'm not mistaken, these are probably the straight 8s. A little short and stubby, but I think a lot of that's got to do with the water that we've had run through here this week or the week before. But I'm going to go ahead and pull every cucumber this size and larger off because I'm simply loaded up with blooms, and these things grow so rapidly that sometimes it's actually hard to keep them all picked off. And some of them have water damage. They may not grow any larger. So we're going to get them out, cut them up, mix them with some tomatoes, add a little bit of salt and pepper, throw them in the refrigerator, and this will be a great snack for us in the evening time. You know what makes it so bad? I've still got all these other cucumbers to go through, and I've already got half a bucket full. We've still got all this. We've got to go through. I've got to check and see what we've got growing in there. You've got to be really careful when you're growing a garden in this type of area, and these leaves are as abundant as they are, and especially since this flood debris is washed up against the vines, and it's made kind of like a haven for ticks, for snakes, and trust me, if I pull a snake out of this right here, which would more than likely be a copperhead, I'll never have to fertilize down here again, or on the other side. And it's pretty safe to say that my drawers would be ruined, because I would crap myself to death. Alright, now the bad thing about this right here is issues like this. Now I'll take it home and I'll cut it, but normally when you've got a cucumber this size, it's going to have kind of a bitter taste to it. This was tucked up under the leaves because once that flood pushed these vines up here, I pretty much lost my trellis system. And I'm not going to complain. They're still here. We're still going to get plenty of cucumbers for the season, and it's going to be great. Okay, now we're down here at the scallop squash. If you remember, I put this scallop squash out just to kind of test the soil to see how well this squash was going to adapt to this area. Excuse me. We had scallop squash, zucchini, squash, or zucchini, squash. One hill of this is plenty for us. I mean, we've got another hill down there, and that's fine. I can give that away to other people. But, you know, this thing it looked horrible after the flood came through, and I'm really glad that it picked up like it did. And the reason I say it's picked up is because it has given me just the right amount of squash for us to eat on. like looking for Easter eggs. Perfect, perfect size. Hey, forgive me, I've had so many knee surgeries I can't stoop over that long. To me, whenever you're doing a new spot for a garden or you're trying something for the first time, I would go as limited as I could on any kind of additives to my soil or to my plants. The reason I say this is because a lot of times people jump to the conclusion that their dirt is not any good, and it could be some bad plants. I have seen that. I've seen bad seeds. I've seen complete packs of seeds that we've purchased from online stores that would never germinate, and I don't know if it may have been old seeds or things of that nature, but for some reason sometimes you get seeds that just will not germinate and will not grow. And a lot of times you have plants that are transplanted too early and they go through a shock and it stunts them, or you may have put some kind of natural fertilizer on your garden that it didn't need, and that could affect its growth. In this area right here, we really didn't do that much to this garden spot. Very little did we do as far as adding things to the soil, because I wanted to see how the soil would grow natural. And that's really the only way you're going to find out. Yes, I've got spots on my tomatoes. Yes, I've got spots on my cucumbers. Yes, and it goes on and on and on. Well, it's still producing what I need it to produce. You know, this is after this thing has been underwater for I don't know for how long, but I know that there was at least 3.5 foot of water running through this thing. And I'm happy with my results. Now, next year, if the weather is in our favor, this spot should be booming. Hear the deer? Hey! They always walk around this electric fence. You can hear them, what we call blowing. I don't know if you can hear that or not. It sounds like somebody wheezing. But anyhow, let's get back. This ain't the wild kingdom. But find out what your soil can do naturally before you start adding all these organic chemicals or things of that nature. It doesn't hurt to throw a little bit of fertilizer on there, like a compound like 10-10-10, triple 13, something of that nature, a small amount. And I'm talking very small amounts, similar to what I use, and you will actually get a result of what your ground can do. And if it doesn't do what you think it should be doing, which it won't, no ground is going to perform the way any gardener wants it to. You can go ahead and buy the additives that you want and put in there. However, before you go all totally gung-ho on it, let me just offer a suggestion. Please, don't go and give $50 for 5 pounds of some kind of stuff that promises to grow like, you know, some professional gardener. A lot of times that stuff is pretty much basic pot and soil with some additives mixed in there, and it's really not going to do your garden any good, because eventually whatever dirt you put in there is going to be absorbed by the ground around it, and it's going to feed your plant. But next year you're going to have to continue adding this to get the same results you had the year before, and it's not cost effective. When you can go buy a bag of fertilizer for $13 to $14, triple 10, triple 13, you can mix that in with a little bit of your dirt, place that around your plants, and you're good to go. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But that's just a little bit of information that I use for myself as far as planting new soil. So let's go over here and take a look at what we got today out of the garden. All right, today's harvest included zucchini, squash, cucumbers, some little cucumbers, some more squash, some more zucchini, some more squash, 3 beautiful green tomatoes to fry, and more cucumbers. Oh, it's not bad. For what this garden had went through this year, it's not bad, and I'll take it. Well, I guess that's going to about wrap it up for this video. We're going to go up to the house and relax for the rest of this evening. Tomorrow is a new day, and we may get down here and, you know, I may get a wild hair tomorrow and plant something. I don't know. We'll just have to see what the day brings. So, for the Garden Rebel, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great day.